So this is why I don't barra. And this is why I'm heavily against barras. Because this gives me the exact feels of when I had RBs. Crankshaft. Bearings. Oh, totally side note. Turns out if you put your toe under the crank when it rolls over, hurts the toe a lot. That aside, so I've gone up, Jason Pip, actually, thank you. I got Luke's original engine from this car. So that's on the stand. The current broken one's still in the car broken. This one here, also out of the car, but also very broken. The oil pump is exploded. We do know that. The con rods are basically... So 1 and 6 were very hot. So I will... A little bit hard to tell from here, but that's not good. The rest is fairly okay. Like can come out of it with a polish. That is not too good. This rear one also not too good. So the crank's not happy. It has spun on number 1 and number 6. The rest seem okay, but that means the head needs to come off. This was his original oil pump, so very not good. So yes, so there's that. So the plan at this point is to... I have found another barra block with a crank and things into it, inside over there. So we will probably need to use those rods with this. Otherwise, I do have a barra up there, which I don't feel like getting down. But we'll basically... And I'm trying to decide. So Frosty's going to be coming down at some point. We're going to get the engine out of that. I don't know how bad that is. So I don't want to rely that that's all good, because that might come out and be as bad as this. So anyway, hopefully I've got head studs coming. I've got a head gasket coming. I do have some sort of head studs around here. Just need to locate them. Basically, I know this ran fine, but because the oil pump broke off and the timing chain guide, the tensioning guide attaches to the oil pump, it's ripped that off. So I'm slightly worried that the pistons have kissed the valves and we've got that problem. So it's going to be a long night. It's now Wednesday for me, and it's like not much time at all, and I'm already feeling tired knowing how long I'm going to have to be awake for. This is why I don't barra. This is exactly why I don't barra. This? No. This. Yes. Alright, so what we've actually done is, instead of rebuilding this engine, I've actually picking up a whole complete FG engine, which we're going to change around the pump, put the good pump in, change the sump, throw all the BAE, BF stuff on. So massive shout out to the boys at here, Southport Auto Recyclers, who've donated this engine. So actually massive thanks, because I was definitely starting to stress with only a couple days out. The engines that I have in there aren't great, and I started getting other like things, bearings and stuff like that, and head studs, head gaskets, things like that. But I'm like, I just don't know how great they are, and it was very limited time, and I still have other jobs to be doing in between getting this ready. So again, massive shout out to Southport Auto Recyclers. They are down actually not far near me, so they're on the Gold Coast in Southport. So if you do need any secondhand stuff, they have a ton of stuff for all types of makes and models. So if you're watching and you need something secondhand, you can hit these guys up. They do sell stuff online as well. So massive thanks to the boys there for helping us out get these engines. So cannot thank them enough. All right, so we're in the shed. We're in the shop, rather. I've got the engine a part that I've got from Southport Auto Recyclers. So that's a part. So I don't know if I explained to you earlier, but basically the other engines, I'm just not confident in it in the time frame. It's going to be a bit of a rush, and I do not want to rush the stuff. When you rush those things can go wrong. So I have got this. Now, the reason why we have it so apart is basically so the FG Falcon is the second last model that the Barra came in. As that is the third last, you could say, or the second gen of the Barra engine that Luke's car is. So there's a few differences. So they basically have a rear mounted sump on the FGs. So I do have to change the pickup. I mean, I have to pull all this apart anyway to get to the oil pump, which is right here. So that's a change. It's going to have the front sump. So When people put these engines in the patrols, they need actually the rear sump. So luckily for the FG engine, you actually have the ability to move the dipstick. There's actually 2 location holes. If you use a BF motor to put FG sump on, all goes on, but you do need to mess around with dipsticks. So totally side note, but that's a part. I do obviously Luke's headers, the intake, all the same thing will go on. New water pump, couple other bits and bobs, reseal some stuff. Spigot bearings will actually go in, and it's going in. So wish me luck, but that's where we're at the moment. Engine upside down. It's actually not too bad. Fairly clean. Obviously looks a bit weird upside down, but yeah, you get me. It's getting done. All right, so we actually are cranking in. So I've got a few of the boys giving me a hand, as it is the middle of the week. So, and it's one day out essentially from when it needs to go. I still got to do some panel stuff. I still need to put the seat in. So Dennis is helping give me a hand, put some of the stuff to bottom. Nick and Coop over there pulling the other engine apart. So actually stoked, getting a bit of a hand. So it's actually good news. But I thought I'd actually update people. The clutches, both same brand, both basically the exact same things. Well, I do not recommend this brand. Do not use this if you want your clutch to stay together, because as you guys know, that broke the week before, and then the next week that one broke as well. So, and a non-turbo Barra, I feel like you should get more out of that. So the balance on the flywheel is concerning, how it's the same exact balance, which I've got a feeling is no balance. It's just whatever machine's making them is drilling them in the same spot, basically. So don't use that. We've got an extreme clutch going in, and we have from Maculec here send out. So shout out to Maculec as well. He's sent us out this mighty thing. So that's going to go more basically like that. Makes sense. You work it out. So that's what come together. So great news. As well, need to thank Extreme as well for jumping on board for this build. So that, Maculec, obviously the guys at Southport Auto Recyclers giving us the engine. And obviously a few of the boys also give us a hand. Forgot who else. There's a couple other people involved. We'll let you know further in. Woo! So, update. Not that you needed one because the video's one length, but the boot lid's off. New boot lid's there. That one's off. That was an ordeal, but boys are just scraping off the oversprays coming off the car. I've got the special paint. I actually managed to find some of this paint that Luke painted the car with local to me. So that's getting a touch up, obviously, for the boot. There might not be a rear wing, but there's, like, obviously it was Luke and Frosty really painted this, like, literally last second before they went to the track. And then right after the track, basically, it was meant to go back to Frosty's. It didn't go to Frosty's, came here. So he couldn't really finish it up. So it's all right. We're going to finish it up. That's fine. That, overspray off. Waiting for that. Oh, yeah, we did. Good colour. Bit of beige. Let them breathe beige, baby. There you go, on there, mate.
Yeah, good, mate.
Painted. Engine. Very good. Boot. Painted. Very good. Better drop it in. Did do a couple more things. Really did not feel like it, but well, basically, you guys didn't even make me feel guilty. I was like, there's no point. So anyway, I changed the fuel line. A couple other little things on the side. Tidy up. It's feeling good. Still got to do these. These plugs here are quite horrendous. I do have the old harness that came with this engine, so I'm going to do that, but don't really feel like doing it right now, so I'm going to put it in the car. It's going to be good, but it looks nice. Look at this little addition. Whipped this up last second. Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, she is running. Sounds nice and smooth in there. Beautiful. So that pretty much brings this absolute build to the conclusion. Definitely this whole job turned into far greater than anticipated. Kind of like somehow inside I kind of knew that there was going to be an engine swap because it's just a Barra. But it's finally done. New clutch is in, so massive thank you to the people involved. So obviously a bunch of the A House boys. We had Cooper, we had Nick, Dennis, we had Sam, we had Jesse, someone else as well. I cannot remember. It's been a while, but massive shout out to the boys there as well. We need to thank Southport Auto Recyclers for providing the engine for the car. Obviously, FGX engine. So that means it actually has a slightly different temperature sensor in the back of the head, different thread. That's a total side note. Also need to thank Extreme Clutches for jumping on board, supplying a clutch for it as well, because we obviously had a lot of issues with the other budget brand. Also need to thank Mackie-Lek, who supplied the bolt holder thing for the flywheel, so they stay tight. So that as well. Obviously Shockworks did the suspension for Luke as well. So sadly it's not going on obviously my works. The Travis's little valve caps haven't helped, but that's all in. The full A House lock is in. It does have the Fab House arms in the front. It's got some Fab House arms in the back of it, camber and the toe arms. So that's all good. It's got 411 diff gears. So that's all in. I sourced another boot, got another boot on, as you guys seen. Basically got a seat to go in, and also we've got water leaking, so that's great. So I'm going to just source that out. But other than that, I'm about to take it for a quick little rip, see how it's going. But I don't know, I've had enough. But that's all for this one. I know so many people are going to be like, why didn't you turbo it? Honestly, the power in this car, like I've got a heap of turbo cars. This will be really good, and it will prolong the gearbox. Yes, it's the big boy gearbox, but power, if there's a turbo on this and Luke's over there, he'll be like, I need more, can we just turn it up? And it's going to be that whole thing where NA, you drive it differently and you have a different mindset to how you drive it. So it'll be challenging for some courses, but you got to remember Japan, a lot of the Japan tracks are designed downhill, not Australian tracks where they're not drift tracks basically. So the downhill thing will work fine. So I was out on the track, what you guys would have seen, I was out on 245 tyres and like 30 PSI ovations, which I run for all my competition. Yeah, I run them at like 15 pound in the turb ski, but I couldn't say this was any really slow, like except for one section of course, mate, this was mint. So should feel good. Hopefully Luke gets some spice looking wheels for it at the track or in Japan. So that should look good, but for now she's going to go on some like stock Z wheels. He's sending that over on that, so we'll take it for a little run. That is that for this. Thanks for the support, everyone. Buy sticker if you can, that will help us out, because this has definitely been a draining time for me. Definitely a massive shout out to the wife, because the last like 3-4 weeks have been huge. 2 of those weeks I've not even been, I've barely been at home. I've basically been in the shed doing this, then testing it, breaking it. It's been huge. Peace, guys. Thanks for watching. Well, yes. Last stop. Fully last stop at Zarafas, because there, not to my knowledge, there is Zarafas coffee in Japan. Maybe not yet. But the BF is on the trail, on the way. It has now got Luke's wheels on it, so it doesn't look as spicy, but still a vibe with those wheels. So we'll see. So I'm heading now to Michael at Dory Junkie. He's the one that's coordinating the departure from this land to the J land. So that can be gone. Yeah, mate, that's me. That's out. The car is at Dory Junkie. Michael's sorting that out, and I am done. I'm done with this car. He's the man himself.